Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. So, let's just get right to it. This is probably the most pressing question in the professional world today, isn't it? It doesn't really matter if you're an engineer, a marketer, or a manager. The way AI is advancing so quickly, this has become a concern for pretty much everyone. Now, to really dig into this, we're going to ground our analysis in a very insightful article. It's titled, appropriately enough, Will AI Replace Me? And it's by Dr. Scott Elliott, published on February 6th. What's interesting is that Dr. Elliott approaches this not from some high-level futurist perspective, but through the very practical lens of his own day-to-day career. All right, so here's our roadmap. We'll start with the universal question itself. Then we'll break down what a manager's job actually looks like. From there, we'll get into the AI versus human divide, introduce a really fascinating concept called the human glue-on, and wrap up with a proactive career strategy that you can actually use. So Dr. Elliott puts his own role under the microscope. He's an engineering program manager. And by using his job as a case study, we get this really concrete example to work with. It lets us methodically analyze which parts of a complex, knowledge-based job might actually be susceptible to automation. Which brings us to a fundamental point. What does a manager really do all day? I mean, to even begin to understand AI's potential impact, you first have to deconstruct the role, right? Break it down into its core components. Okay, so the first core responsibility is what he calls developing program knowledge. And this isn't just about crunching numbers or knowing the data. It's much deeper. It's about actually forming a strategic vision. And if you look at what that involves, the emphasis is clearly on human interaction. You're working with marketing and sales. You're taking all these different inputs and integrating them into a clear vision. And then, and this is key, you have to sell that vision to leadership and your own staff. You're constantly navigating different communication preferences. This is all about negotiation, persuasion, things that require a high degree of social intelligence. All right, the second key function is a bit more on the analytical side. We're talking about the nuts and bolts of program planning and execution. This is where process and methodology really take center stage. So this is where you see things like PERT analysis and developing Gantt charts, tasks that are very, very structured. But it's not just that. It also involves interpreting sometimes ambiguous results from an agile team and then modifying your plans based on nuanced feedback. So you see, it's this interesting blend of the purely analytical and the very interpersonal. Okay, so with that breakdown in mind, we arrive at the central question. Looking at these different responsibilities, what can an AI realistically do? And what still requires a human being? And this slide really illustrates that divide perfectly. On one side, you have the tasks for AI can be a massive help, a great augmentation tool. Things like developing papers, running a PERT analysis, creating Gantt charts, all very structured, data-driven work. But then you look at the other side. These are tasks rooted in human connection. We're talking about leveraging long-term professional relationships, getting truly honest answers from customers, negotiating features, interpreting ambiguity. An algorithm is just not built for that. This is what leads Dr. Elliott to his core concept, his term for this irreplaceable human element. He has a great name for it, the human glue-on. So what exactly is human glue-on? Well, the crucial idea here is that the glue-on is all the work that happens between the structured tasks. Think of it as the synthesis, the diplomacy, the intuition that you need to navigate all the complexities of a team, of stakeholders, to actually deliver a successful solution. And this is Dr. Elliott's main conclusion, right here in his own words. He says that while AI makes him far more productive at all the mechanical parts of his job, his essential value, the reason he's still there, is in performing these glue-on activities. This really is the core of his argument for why he and others in similar roles won't be replaced anytime soon. Okay, so this is all very interesting from an analytical standpoint, but what does it actually mean for you? Well, this whole analysis points to a very clear, very proactive strategy you can use to think about your own career longevity in this age of AI. It's really a three-step plan. First, you have to break down your own job, just like we did with the manager role. Methodically figure out which tasks could, in theory, be done by AI. Step two is to actually learn to use AI. Proactively get good at using it to augment your productivity on those tasks you just identified. And then step three, and this is probably the most important part, is to double down on your human value. You need to intentionally focus on developing and amplifying the human glue-on activities that are unique to your own role. So the key takeaway here is really a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing AI as a replacement, we should see it as a powerful tool for augmentation. The roles that are going to thrive in this new landscape are the ones that are rich in those skills AI just can't replicate. Strategic oversight, stakeholder management, and that kind of intuitive problem solving. And that really leaves us with a final critical question that I'd like you to reflect on. When you look at your own daily work, what are the essential human glue-on activities that you perform? What holds everything together? And more importantly, how can you start to focus more of your energy on strengthening those specific skills? Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. And of course, liking, commenting, and sharing this analysis really helps us reach a wider audience. And finally, if you like these videos, you can use the QR code on the screen to buy us a coffee. Any support you offer helps us continue creating content like this to keep you ahead of the curve.